Hello and welcome to a Life Afterlife podcast with Deborah Gabby Baker. Today we have Jenny Murphy from Vibe Tribe in with us talking about past life regression therapy and everything she does in her work life. So we are very lucky to have her on. She is an amazing woman, an inspiration to a lot of people, and she has 100% clients that would tell you that she is the real deal. So let's talk to Jenny and get her take on everything. Hi Jenny, welcome.
Thanks a million, Debs. That's lovely. Thanks a million, Debs. I'm absolutely delighted to be here because I love an opportunity just to talk about what's normal. Like, this isn't supernatural, it's actually natural stuff. So we get to take the whole woo-woo out of, life. Like, this is life, and life doesn't end. Life is a continuum, and it's always here. It's always connecting with us, and it's part of us. Like, from our first incarnation all the way through to us sitting here, those connections are very, very real.
Yeah. And what made you become a past life regression therapist?
Well, I started my platform, I suppose. We all come into something, not because we're happy, because something has happened in our lives. And I think that's just the human nature, isn't it? When everything is great, we never look back. Yeah. And for me, I always say, like, I woke up at 40, I had a loss in my life, and it all happened through Reiki. So I ended up going to a Reiki course, and the minute I actually got tuned into energy, that was the catalyst for me for all my gifts to wake up. And when I started doing energy work, I just assumed, I only did it for me. It was never to work with other people. So for me, it was my own healing journey. But the minute I started working with energy, I just thought it was the same for everyone. I could put my hands on someone and I was seeing stories. It was like I was seeing little snapshots over a certain part of their body. And when we were being trained, as you know, they'd say, oh, just be careful what you say to people or whatever. And I would just maybe say, do you know, I just kind of had that impression of this. All of a sudden it opened the floodgates of a conversation of something that was going on for somebody at that time. So when I actually eventually did start working at this, which I suppose it was another life-changing experience as well, they always are, where I had done this as a hobby and I'd done all the healing work and I was learning all about energy. I wanted to know more because I could not make sense of the stuff that I was seeing. So I wanted to understand more. And I went on and I started working with I suppose, the mind. So I wanted to understand consciousness. I wanted to understand the mind. I went and I studied and trained in clinical hypnotherapy and psychotherapy. And then when I would be working with people, the reason I did this is because I noticed when I'd work with certain people, they would just go spontaneously into past lives. So they would just drop down. And then I remember probably one of the first ones that I said, right, I need to know more about this stuff, because it was a girl who came and her friends in work gifted her this session. And I found out later on that they sent her to me because they wanted her to be a little bit more happier because she was their boss. Right. Anyway, she came in, and this woman, when I was actually just doing a healing, she went into a past life of this little boy, and he was an orphan. And the woman had so much misery with her. And I sat with her for an hour afterwards, with her trying to get her head around what she had just experienced. And what we went into was the reason why she felt so lost and why she felt that there was no happiness or joy in her life. And so, yes, the people that worked with her did pick up on, she could be happier. But when we went into it, we actually helped, and she was able to understand, and we were able to help that part of her to move on and to see that she was in a happier lifetime now. And we were able to do some nice renovation work for her. And it was like her whole world just changed. Like, there was just this urge to live and to do more. And I remember I had this guy, and he's from Ballyfermot, and he was just the salt of the earth, and he came up because somebody told him he had pain in his leg and wherever. And I was doing the work with him, and he went into past lives, and he went into snapshots of all different times in his life. And this just seemed to be a reoccurring theme just lying on the plinth. And I was saying, right, I want to know this stuff. I want to know more.
So with the first lady, do you think was it the realisation of why she was sad, or do you think she just made peace with that?
Yeah, so it was both, I feel, because as she sat there, we actually went into some of the charges. So it's like you hold those emotional and mental charges in your psyche.
Yeah, and I suppose if you're seeing it for yourself, it's not just somebody telling you this is your past life.
She actually dropped there and she could see it.
Okay.
But most of all, she could feel it.
And the release that happened.
Yeah, and healing could take place because it was like a past life attachment that got activated. And when something went wrong in her life.
Yeah. It was the same feeling sadness, again. Came back. Okay.
Came back.
Very good.
And she couldn't
very
snap
interesting.
It. Yeah.
And the type of people that would come to you for past life regression, is it every walk of life?
Yeah. So what's happening at the minute, most of my work is regression work. 9 times out of 10, someone who comes to me, they sit in front of me, the stories become active. So it is the active charge in your field at that time. So people would come because maybe they might have this unexplained pain or fear, or there's something that's deeper than depression. It's despair. There's something that they know isn't right. For some people, it could be flashbacks. But for a lot of people, it's because somebody has told them that their problems or their challenges or something that's going on in their family system. They've told them they've been with me and it has actually gone back into another lifetime.
Okay.
And the challenges or the karmic stuff has actually has come back up again.
So it's kind of
to be resolved.
It's healing like family, I suppose, lineage, karma, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and it is. It can be generational. It can be a snapshot from another lifetime, not necessarily with the group of, souls that we come in with. So we come in as families and we tend to come in as family groups. We come in as soul clusters and we have contracts. So, I suppose the way you could explain this, we see it on a soul level. So we're here, Earth is our school. We come in as souls, we come in to evolve, we come in to resolve some karmic stuff that's still active. I call it unfinished business. So when soul goes back into the other world, that goes into a place of review, it sees what has happened, it sees the problems that have happened, and it wants to make a change. Okay. And that's it. And sometimes it's come in to resolve and to actually create peace within the family again, because those other lifetimes are causing a ripple even for the generations today. So they come back to fix things.
Wow.
I know.
And then phobias, is that part of it as well? Would people come to you for phobias?
Oh, yeah. So, I would have, I've got lots of funny stories, but people would come and just say, for one, anyway, I suppose we spoke about this as well, like a guy who couldn't get on a plane and he needed to get on a plane.
Yeah.
And that brought him back to a birthing. He actually, when I brought him back in and I bring the energy, I bring the feel, I bring everything back. It's just how a trained therapist works. And he went right back into the fetal position and went back into the actual birth and the fear that had come through the mother into him. And when we'd actually done that, there wasn't a bother. He just went and got on a plane. And for another person, it's the fear of water and it's drowning. And we go back and it'll bring you back to a time where somebody has actually, where it's been a sudden loss of life and they're gone. And that memory is held on a cellular level. So we carry the shock of a death in our system. And the way I explain this to people, it's like when you chop down a tree, you see the rings on a tree and it tells you the years of life.
Okay.
And it's the same. Those rings of life are with us. Okay. In our unconscious, we carry all the stories of our lives, right from the start, right up till now. And, what's very interesting about past life is, it could be 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It could take you to 10. It's not something that I actually decide.
So it could be in this lifetime too?
Yes.
Okay.
So I travel with the energy with people. I hold that vibration and we go right back, and I go to cause. So when we do this work, somebody comes in, I have a problem. This woman afraid to walk across bridges. There was a bridge out of her village. There was a bridge beside her house. There was a bridge over her canal. And she was afraid to walk across. And that only developed later in her life. So anyway, we went into the fair, and we journeyed all the way back into a lifetime where she was a nun. And she was in France. She was a Carmelite nun. Okay. And this also solved a lot of other problems for her in her life. Because what happened was she was hiding soldiers. The Germans came, and she wouldn't, because she couldn't talk. She wouldn't say anyway, and they wouldn't show where the soldiers were.
So the Carmelite nuns, they're silent?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
So when she came in, she didn't speak till she was nearly 3 years of age.
Okay.
But what happened was she had that physical fear that somebody was going to grab her by the legs and throw her over a bridge. She had this feeling of somebody coming up and throwing her in one action. And that's exactly what happened.
That's how she died?
That's how she died.
Okay.
She was thrown over a bridge.
Mental.
I know. And she always had a problem of speaking up and speaking out. And that all cleared up for her as well.
Wow.
I had another girl that I was, talking about speaking up, speaking out. I had another girl that, and we talk about in this lifetime, she ended up having to have her thyroid removed. And this was just a general session I did for her. And she was taken back. So obviously it went into the problem with her speech. And she was actually behind a door. And a man had taken her off her street, took her into the house, hid her behind his door. People were knocking on the door looking for her. And she couldn't speak out. But they found her. They went to his house. They found her. And that she knew that something had happened to her, but that whole memory got blocked for her. And in that one healing session, we were able to clear all of that up. And huge anxiety and fear left her body. She would have been covered in like eczema.
Okay.
All of that over the matter of 2-3 weeks all vanished. She said, if only I had come and met you years ago, she said, I know for a fact I wouldn't have needed to have that done.
Wow.
And she said so much had opened up for her. There was so much of her life that she blocked. But she had no recall on that.
That's mad.
And she went then and spoke to her parents, and they said, yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Wow. So that was in this lifetime?
That was in this lifetime, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And like there's so many different stories. We talk about coming as souls, we come as groups, like that some of us come and part of our journey or contracts are to maybe meet each other and support each other in spiritual work. Then you feel that joy in meeting someone, and we call them our soulmates, yeah? They're the people, there are people that are there, and there's that overwhelming urge to be with someone because there's a draw. And then we come and it's the opposite. There's challenges, major challenges in families, in friendships, and they are our karmic lessons. So they come because that. So if you're having problems at the moment in your life, big challenges that keep repeating themselves, that's your karmic stuff that needs to be cleared. Okay. So they'll show up at different times, maybe different people. It might start in your family. And it might then go into work, and then it might actually you start being challenged in friendships. And that's the type of work we do. And when you go into that regression, it will move through that, and it may go to another lifetime.
Okay. Then people aren't necessarily from your past life. It's just something that you carried in from a past life.
Yes.
And they're triggering you to heal that.
Yes. But yes, they can be from another lifetime as well. They've come in to to actually resolve the conflict. And for souls, basically, you come in to evolve, you come in to resolve, and you resolve the karmic bank, you could say. The good stuff, it builds up lovely, but then it's the stuff that you need to come and create balance. So the whole time we're coming to create the balance within the soul, to clear up the unfinished business. And as a spiritual person, part of that is to evolve to be without karma, so that you don't have to keep doing reincarnation and coming back to fix things up. When I'm talking about this with you, I remember there was a woman, and she was just 6 o'clock. the news was on and 6-1 or whatever. And she was cooking her dinner and she came over and there was a guy on the TV. And she caught his eyes and went, there was something about him. So this is how it started. And it was something within the same area, line of work that she worked in. And she just knew. She said something hit her. And she went, oh my God, there's something here. And she just couldn't help thinking about him. And within like weeks or whatever, she found herself in a circle where she met the guy. And they ended up hitting it off. They ended up having a relationship with each other. He ended up being an absolutely so abusive with her. It was a really difficult relationship. And she found it very hard to walk away. She found it very hard to leave him. It was like that they had to be together and it didn't matter how hard things got.
Okay.
It was really, really hard. And mental, emotional, coercive, the whole lot. Anyway, she came to me. She was really struggling with the relationship. And that's why she came. And it wasn't for past life, but that's where we went. And it went into another lifetime where they were together. And he had this jealousy where he said, you will never leave me. We will always be together. This was the statement. So sometimes it's making a vow, it's making a statement, it's making promises with each other. Mm-hmm. From the heart, and she really believed she couldn't get away from him. But in that lifetime, out of jealousy and rage, he actually killed her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they actually, when they came back into this lifetime, this was the reconnection. And in this lifetime, after the session, she was able to actually leave him. She understood when the work was done, there was a difference. And when she went to actually talk about it, the same energy charges that were so magnetic, that pulled the same energy together, that pulled in the same situations together, it just stopped, it neutralized. She could talk to him. She actually told him what happened. And she was saying, like, this isn't working. It's time, the contract is finished. She could actually forgive him. She could understand him. She could feel the love as well as what underneath all that anger and violence and everything. There was a real deep love at one stage, but that had finished and that wasn't for her. But she learned forgiveness. And sometimes, you know, if you look at what are the concepts of past life, like why do we do this? Well, they come and they say, well, basically we're here to learn love. We're here to learn forgiveness. And we're here to live and learn humility. So how it is to be human. Mm. And if you think of our world at the moment, it's like we're all going through this together. And some of this karmic stuff is group karmic stuff. It's world stuff.
Interesting.
It's humanity stuff. Mm. It comes down to a very physical stuff as well. For us at the moment, because of the wars and because we are so empathetic, it stirs up some of the unresolved past lifetimes in war. And I think for us as Irish people and for anyone else, when our countries have been, you know, invaded, when there has been war, when there's been fear, when there's been all this stuff, for safety mechanisms, we learn to block things out and we learn to get on. And I think our past generations learned not to emotionally feel. They learned to turn off that emotional intelligence. And I think a lot of that through the family lines has come in as addictions for people. Yeah. What do I do with it? You know, how do I clear this built up emotional trauma? And the traumas are carried over. You know, talking about war, I remember this guy, and he was only 28, 29. And he got really down. And he had a horrendous fear that would not leave him. It's like his days were numbered. He felt that he was going to die. And he had these pains. He had lung problems. He had like pains in his legs. And he went to doctors. He said, I can't breathe. I've got this horrendous pain. They're saying there's nothing wrong with you. You know, maybe it's psychosomatic, whatever. But this guy went from really thriving in his life, had a job, he couldn't function anymore. And same thing, he came to me. And we went into a past life, and that's where he went with his pain. His pain took him to a war zone field. And he was shot. And he got shot right through and out through the back of his lung. And that was it, into his leg. And they were right where the pain, where the wounds were. He had problems, like he lost so much blood and he basically died from his injuries. But he needed that retrieval. He lost his life force, he lost his blood, and also his whole psyche, his memory remembered, his cells remembered, I die at 28.
Okay. And do you think his
body was
coming
responding
up to that age?
Yeah,
that made
29.
That?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what his body had remembered, his cells had remembered. And like we were talking here, genetics, you know, we're talking when you're talking about family healing, you're talking about healing the family lines, you know, where, you know, we come in and we try and resolve some of the family stuff that is still happening. I remember this woman came because she had just so much bad luck in love, finances. She just could never get on her feet. She said, you know what, I really feel I've been cursed. And I said, okay. And she said, it's just I'm in scarcity the whole time. So even with her, she didn't want to spend money. It just became a vicious circle. And she said her family, it's the same. Everything we get, we lose. There's nothing there. Like we can't. It doesn't matter how hard we work. We end back up with bad luck. Things go wrong. And anyway, her story went right back to a great-grandfather, and it was in Ireland, and it was over land. And what had happened was there was a piece of land, and there was two friends. They were friends. They were family landowners, whatever. But he had built up enough money to purchase this bit of land and this home that was going to give them a great status in the town, and which would give his daughter a great status, and she would marry well. Okay. So this is what we were talking about. So this is where this story went. And the other friend thought, yeah, great idea. And he went in with extra money underneath him, got the land, and they ended up having a really good life, okay? Mm-hmm. But what happened was the other farmer, landowner, cursed him. He cursed him. He cursed his daughters. He cursed that they'd never be happy, that they'd never find love, and that they would have financial problems, that they would lose everything. So when we went back, we met the two old guys. This is the way I called it. We met them. She was actually, when she stepped into the energy, she was the great-grandfather.
One of them.
Yes.
Okay.
Right? So she apologised on behalf of her family, and she showed them just how bad life had become and how that had followed down about 4 generations, and how they had struggled and that they'd never, like here she was, could never find love and whatever. And they actually resolved the issue. Wow. They forgave each other. They could understand the difficulty for that man. Oh my God. And you talk about energy, Debs, the energy in the room, it hits a vibration. And we're in the Akasha, we're in records, we're actually clearing stories. There's just this wave of just release. Mm. And she just sat there as if she had been through the wars, basically. And I said, so what are you going to do now? You know? And they actually wished each other well. And she did. She actually did really well. She met somebody.
And things started going better for her.
She got her own home.
Great.
She started travelling.
Love it.
Yeah, and money just seemed to come. She met a guy with a good few bob, you know, and has a really happy life. She didn't go on to have children because it was a bit too late for her. Yeah. But she actually had her happiness.
Brilliant.
And that didn't even just work for her. It actually went through the lines for her brothers and sisters and their grandchildren. So it went into the future generations. Gotcha. And that's where the cells, where we are all connected. Epigenetics is where, I love it, Bruce Lipton is one of the leading people in this, where he was doing experiments on cells, take the cells out, you know, petri dish, and the woman who left her cells, so they, like that, they have all these systems on it. Yeah. And on her way home at about 9:30 in the evening, she had a car crash, and the cells all went crazy in the petri dish at 9:30. So it's the separation of energy. And this is where and how I could work with someone I'm here, but I can work with them and they're on the other hemisphere. They're in Australia or in America, or France or England or anywhere that I work with people online. The energy is no different.
Yeah.
We're able to bring the energy into that place and join the connections.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
As we said, the cells, it's, it's our consciousness that travels, in different systems of belief. It's, yes, our physical existence is what goes, but our consciousness is what travels. It's like an entity of itself, and that's how they explain it.
Okay.
For us, we call it spirit, or we call it soul. So for me, at this moment, I'm in the lifetime of Jenny. I'm in the soul experience of Jenny Murphy. I've had many other lifetimes where, I've come, and on this one, I've come back because I want to help. I didn't wake up till I was 40. I had lots of time, and I would have had, when I look back over my life, even when I lived in Australia, I met so many deep spiritual people, monks, everything, that we befriended. Yeah. That wanted to invite me into different journeys, and I used to think,
ready.
no, they were weirdos.
You had to be a mother first.
They don't eat meat. They don't even drink, like whatever. Yeah. We were busy having our parties.
Yeah, yeah.
But
living life.
Yeah, but it's amazing because your time comes, as I said, it comes through hardships. The first one was me with a personal loss, and the second one was when my husband had an accident. But life had prepared me for what was going to happen next in my life. And I actually had fully trained myself through an interest and a desire to know more for what I was going to be doing.
Very good. Yeah.
It's amazing how
you mentioned the Akashic Records.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain that to me?
Yeah. So like that, when I went on and I trained into past life regression and advanced regressional skills, and it is a therapy in itself. It's not you say and you work out stuff and you tell something. No, you actually bring the person. So I think the good thing that we have going as being intuitives and actually having that intuition and higher energy that we're able to bring into a space, it makes it easier for the person that you're working with. So what I've done, I remember I was away, I had to leave, and I have groups of people, and it was a time, probably, what were we in, 2026, 2024, it was very much karma. So that year, that universal year, was bringing up karmic stuff for people. So every other person I worked for, I was cleaning up karmic stuff with them. Yeah. So they'd come, it was very little healings, it was all regressional stuff. So we were going into stories. So then for the groups of people that I train, so they're all their own healers. In Reiki, it's not just a Reiki weekend that we do. When we're training, we have, like we call it the Vibe Tribe. We're group,
it's celestial as well.
Yes, isn't it? It's celestial, and so it's ongoing. So we do inner work. So, it's a little journey you go on. Once a month, you're able to work out what's coming up, and you're able to get a recharge in your life, and it's ongoing kind of healing. And we're our own tribe. We talk about clusters of souls, and most of our groups, they all help other people. Yeah. So just like yourself, we've opened our gifts and we help people, and that's what we do. Mm-hmm. And what I noticed, a lot of people, it is their own work, but they're working to help clear up the energy in their family as well. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So for other people that can do their own healing work, anybody who does Reiki or their own healing work, I was shown how to actually bring them to the Akasha. So I would do a 3-week Akasha course with them where I give them all the guided stuff. It's all pre-recorded, and they're able to go in and sit and go into their own records. But unlike the past life journey, you go in, somebody is with you, and you're actually in the story from the moment you move into that life, right up till the death experience. So you actually experience the death in that lifetime, which most likely is part of the problem in this lifetime for people. So you go through that, and then some people go into another lifetime, and you see how the sequence of events in their lives have played out that has landed them in the role or as the daughter today, or why they do what they do today.
And they're ready to clear it now.
And they're ready to clear it. Yeah, and it's already cleared by the understanding. I think once we can understand something, we can let it go. And we talked about forgiveness today and carrying it in our body as pain or arthritis or some inflammation, that all starts to leave your body. So getting back to the question, I and our groups, so I've trained all our different groups that we have. There's over 100 people now that are regularly doing their own work. And it's great tribe to be in, like really, really progressive people. So I said, right, guys, I'm shown you need to be doing this for yourselves. And this is a clear up job. So you're able to go in, and because they do their own healing, a lot of their stuff is cleared. So it isn't like this sudden, oh my God, emotional stuff that's come up and you need somebody to help you with it. They're able to go in. So I've had a fight with somebody at the moment, whatever, or I'm finding it really hard with this person in work. They go in and they say, okay, I want to have a look to see if there's something more that I'm not seeing about this. Is this linked to something else that I need to understand so I can progress past this? Is this challenge something that needs to be resolved? It's never about the other person. It's about something that has come up in me.
And it's blocking you.
And it's blocking me.
Gotcha.
And they go in, and there's different, there's 3 different processes that they can go and sit with a garden with guides. They get the whole visual. They can go in, actually see the book. They can go in and heal it, and you see things closing over and you see things moving on. And sometimes it's just to sit there and to actually understand life from where you are.
So your book is literally everything that's happened before that you're here to karmically clear.
Your every incarnation in your life. And it's only our challenges today that you would go looking at. And for a lot of people that come in, as I said to you, you know, this isn't suitable for everyone. No. Because people who are really struggling, or they're on mind-altering drugs, or they're taking drugs, they should never do anything like this. Yeah. Because there's an escapism in it. Okay. And it's like, why open another Pandora's box if you're not dealing with what's going on? If mentally
they're not able.
Yeah, and that you're on these mind-altering drugs, you cannot. Okay. Because you're not in your rational brain here. It's too much. Yeah. It would be overwhelmed. There's no way could you.
Okay.
Or anybody, you know, that's going through psychosis. You would never, me personally, I'd have a duty of care. I would never, ever. I would always make sure the person is okay. And I always make sure, and it's always the same, anyone who comes in will always leave better than they've walked in the door. Yeah. With their own information, you know. Yeah. And that's why I love other healers, that they're able to go to the next level of their journey because they can do their own work at home. Yeah, absolutely. It's not shocking for them. Mm. And if there's something they need a hand with, well, that's they're the ones I work with first, because they're on the journey, and as they're healing themselves, they're not only healing for themselves, but they're healing for their grandmother, their great-grandmother, and they're healing all the way through to their grandchildren that are yet to be born. Yeah.
Just stepping back to when you were saying about issues with people in work. Yeah. So let's say if something is happening in the here and now. So let's say you're going for a job and they bring somebody else from outside the company in and give that job when it should have been yours. Yeah. So let's say if you know for a fact, because I've sometimes had people sit with me and they'd say, I know that somebody has put a bad vibe on me. So like the MVI, or like nothing's working out and I know there's something going on. Can that be cleared when it's in this lifetime?
Yes.
So that person can go back and see where it's coming from, and it's not always from a past life.
Yes.
So it could be somebody wishing you bad, and you can cut that.
Yes.
Okay.
It's all energy. Yeah. So it's a little bit like, you know, people talk, I would say, we're still living off the prayers of our ancestors. We're not talking about religion here. Yeah. We're talking about people who genuinely came together and prayed for another country, for a group of people. Yeah. You know, that is genuine. It's collective goodwill. Yeah. It's the same. Collective ill will is when 2 or more people get together and they bitch. I don't like it because I understand the karmic resonance of it. And it's not good. It really isn't. Yeah. And that hits your field. And if it's like unknown to you, it's like going out in a shower hitting you.
You're just tired all of a sudden.
All of a sudden, you're not feeling very good. You're bumping off stuff. You're not feeling well in yourself. You're feeling a bit down. It's an energy you can't process. Yeah. And it's in your field. And when you know, that's why I love energy work, because, you know, the basics for Reiki 1, I give the basics, but I learn and I teach what I've learned. So I think my first manual was 11 pages. I think there's something like 40 pages on this. And it's a manual to deal with people. It's a manual to deal with situations, how to mind your energy, how to cut ties with people, how to feel energy, how to travel,
like psychic
how to
protection,
connect.
it's so important.
Yes. And I think that's so important. So yes, that's very relevant. But also those little things, they're not a big trauma that causes major karma for you.
No.
But it's really a bad habit to get in to that type of energy and to be talking about people, because it will come back to you.
Absolutely.
It will come back. But when you know, and you're able to actually clear the energy away. But I think the hardest thing for people as well is to be honest, because when you honestly know that somebody actually has ill will against you, it can cause horrible ripples in your life.
Oh, absolutely.
It can cause problems in your life. And how do you address somebody like that? It's hard to have those conversations because it will be twisted again, because there's a manipulation on it. And that's where past life goes. That's where you go to see, why am I attracting these people? And what is life showing me at the moment? And what do I need to clear? Why does life need to be so hard for me?
Yeah.
Why does this need to happen? I remember I was working with this girl. She came because she was in a relationship and they were together for years. And she said, you know, maybe we should start thinking about, you know, the next step and maybe marriage and babies and all that.
Yeah.
And she realised he had no will.
No intention of that.
No, I don't want any of that. I just want us to stay the way we are. I don't want to go to that. I don't want it. It's not for me. And she had to decide at that stage that she had this overwhelming urge to be a mum. And she said, if I can't have that with you, like, I suppose the soul contract for her children that were to come in was more over, you know, pairing for her that love that she couldn't. She says, I can't. And
the want was greater than what she had.
Yeah, what she had. And she came anyway. And I ended up working with her 3 weeks in a row. I remember this as well as anything. And because it was helping her with what was now. And then the next one went straight into a past life.
Okay.
Because she was overthinking. She was in panic. She was in shock. My life is over. Oh, my God. You know, he's been the love of my life. What am I going to do? Blah, blah, blah. And the second one, when we were able to calm things down to see it from a higher perspective, it went straight into a past life where she was a healer. Okay. She lived off the land. She was using herbs and whatever, and it was a time where it was really dangerous. What you find in past life regression for healers are a lot of lifetimes where maybe they were burnt at the stake or they were killed or whatever, ostracised, and they had to hide their gifts, all of this. Anyway, for this particular one, she was married to this guy.
Fella?
Same guy.
Oh, wow, okay.
They had 2 children. They were very happy, and she was practicing this, and then all the stuff came in about witchcraft and all, and they had to try and hide, and one of the local people killed her, but in her field was a shovel. I said, that looks like a shovel. She goes, yeah, it's a shovel. She got hit in the back of the head with a shovel and was thrown into the ground. And we were able to go and actually do soul retrieval, do healing, do repair. We were able to heal that lifetime for her family that never knew what happened.
Okay.
And all of that was resolved in that time for her. On the 3rd night she went home. After the last one she came, we did some healing. She had to kind of understand. There was lots because she overtaught a lot of stuff. He had all balloons and an engagement ring, and he asked her to marry her.
Wow.
Yeah. And they have 2 children.
So
and I got an invite to the wedding.
Cool. Very nice.
I know. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So they're karmic problems that have been started by an act and a separation and a loss and an abandonment or a betrayal. And we cannot make peace with it. The soul has wounds on it.
Yeah.
And they can't make peace with it. And it's a little bit, you know, we look at a lot of these stories that come in but they're here to teach us something. And especially at the moment, there's people coming because they feel that they don't fit in with their family or their ways, and that they don't want to continue in the abusive or aggressive ways that, you know, that is to be acceptable within the family system. And then the rest of the family feel like, who do they think they are?
Yeah.
You know, that getting above your station thing, all the rest of it. And I remember this one girl came in, and it was all to do with addictions. And that was the same cycles that were being enabled through the parenting as well.
Okay.
And how do you do that? Because if you don't fit in, then you're isolated, you're outside. Anyway, she was brave enough to actually stand up and speak out about the emotional, mental abuse and physical abuse and even sexual abuse that had gone on within the family that was seen as normal and nobody talked about. Okay. And she called it. She just came and she just called it, caused huge problems for the family to actually look at this mirror and face it. And she never dropped it. She didn't take it outside the family. She kept it inside the family and said something needs to be done because this was about her nieces and her nephews. Yeah. Anyway, she came to me and she was going through that, and there was a lot of problems, and she just felt like she was being attacked from every end. Anyway, when she came, it was very healing, but we ended up going in to another lifetime, and I went back 3 or 4 generations to great-great-grandfather, and he came in, and when she stood in the energy, she was shocked because she was that great-great-grandfather. And she had actually come back to fix what was started. When she could understand the horrendous life and the conditions, she could see the lifetimes and how that actually worked through. And it needed to stop. And she did.
Very good.
Yeah, and they did. And counselling, work, talking, everything was out. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't have to be publicly done.
Yeah, of course.
But life has changed.
Yeah, to put a stop
for
to
the
that.
next generation. And sometimes we're changing, you know, I'm not good enough, those programs. Mm-hmm. For some people, I can't speak out. If I speak out, I'll die. And that goes to a past lifetime of a woman that couldn't speak out in, you know, an Egyptian lifetime. Couldn't, or you would lose your life. Like, you couldn't stand up for yourself. Other, you know, I've done so many for Irish people. Mm-hmm. I've done so many that bring you back to World War II. Mm-hmm. For people, you know, it's horrendous stuff. I couldn't talk about it because it's hard stuff. Yeah. It's sexual assault, you know, for women, a lot of stuff. You know, I'd have people coming because they're sick. They'd come because they, you know, there's a problem. I had this woman, and like I could tell you about 100 different stories, but this one that came in, her liver was failing. And it was a transplant that she'd had for a while. And she had it for years. And she was really, really sick, and somebody told me about her. So she came for healing. Okay. So when she came in, it took her ages to even get into my cabin. She was that ill. It was before Christmas. This was years ago. And anyway, long story short, I took her on a journey. This woman, just your normal woman that goes to Duns, yeah? Never had anything spiritually done, nothing. Sitting there, and we went into a lifetime. So we went backwards. We went to the death of her mother. And it ended up that there was an attachment. So the soul of her mother's sister was with her mother. Concept, crazy? Yeah. But that was it. She had no idea. But when her mother died, she just screamed out, "What am I going to do, Mum? I can't be without you," whatever. The horrible loss, the horrible pain. And this attachment came to help. Yeah. So we call it attachment, came to help. Yeah. But wasn't fully healed. Okay. It was soul resonance, you know. And anyway, within that year, she needed a liver transplant. The woman never drank in her life. So anyway, this attachment, we'll call the other lifetime, died, was an alcoholic, got knocked down by a bus, and that was her life. All those symptoms became symptoms in her body. Wow. How could that be possible? But that is the story.
Because the spirit was attached.
Yes.
Okay.
That was the story. And we were able to go back and heal that. She could see that. And we were brought to 2 children on a swing. And she went, oh my God, I know that picture. That was my mother and her twin.
Wow.
Yeah. And I went back to the great-grandmother. So it all came true. Other stories of past life where where the debt being hung can't bear anything on the ears, around the neck, has terrible problems with this. Phobias of spiders, been bit by spiders and dying.
Yeah.
Phobias of snakes.
Yeah.
Like that, the water.
They're all stuff you bring with you.
They're all stuff that we bring with you. It's the point where the imprint is left because it's a shock on the system, like on the trees.
Yeah.
You can see, there must have been some world event there because there's a problem on the ring of the tree.
Okay.
And they become on us as well. We carry them in the cells. Yeah. The shock is there. Like other lifetimes for women, they were very hard before they had, midwives that could help deliver. I had a woman who went in after having her baby. It wasn't just postnatal depression. She went into despair. She went into this horrible despair that she couldn't explain. It never left her chest. It was like a loss. Mm-hmm. And like, I can't go on, was like the feeling. I just can't go on. And when she came to me, it was for healing. We went right back spontaneously into a past life regression. And I went back to a time where she was an Indian woman, an American Indian. And her husband had gone off out to fight and never came back. And she ended up giving birth alone, and her and the baby died. Oh. So in that lifetime, she was 23. In this lifetime, this woman had her first child at 23. And that loss of the little baby was there.
It was still stuck.
Stuck. When we did that healing, that all left her. Mm-hmm. It all left her. But when she came to me, it was because her husband had left her. Wow. It wasn't even to do.
Wasn't even about that.
About the birth. Her husband had left and had actually brought everything back up. He's left me. Oh, okay. And that was the very first thing that happened. He left, went to war and never came back. And then she ended up giving birth. So it actually cleared up this depression.
A few different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing how it works, but it was gone. Mm-hmm. Just gone. She couldn't believe how different her life, her energy, her motivation, everything for life, how it had changed. But it also healed her baby that she gave birth to, because we did heal him for the energy, for the child that was being born at that time as well.
Wow. And like, do you think that we choose our kids and our kids choose us and we choose our parents and our siblings? Yes,
we do. So like our kids choose us. I always tell them that because that takes the emphasis off us. You choose you picked me, remember that? Yeah. But it is, we come in because, and I think also what I notice with people at the moment is actually saying, I don't want to continue that cycle. So I don't want to be like him. I don't want to be like her. Mm-hmm. And sometimes in some really difficult cases, what the parents have taught you is not to be that type of person anymore. So it changes. You do not pass. You know the way when we played rounders years ago and you pass the baton on for the next person to run. People coming in these days are stopping those karmic cycles and saying, I am not passing that on to my daughter. Yeah. I'm not passing that on to my son. Mm-hmm. This is not going to happen. And they're actually standing and saying no. And sometimes, what the father hasn't done has taught that man how to be a better man, how to be a better father, how to have compassion, how to
they
love.
Learn from
how to love. Because they realise what they didn't have, what they really wanted, is what they now give to other people. And a lot of people go into helping other people, you know.
Yeah.
You know, for healers, what I found is a big problem. A lot of us have been nuns in other lifetimes. And what you're doing is we're carrying the vows of poverty, chastity, even subservience.
Yeah.
And some people will, you know, become like a floor mat. They never are involved in their own life. Their own life is about being in service to everybody else. Mm-hmm. And that's not learning a lesson either.
Yeah.
Part of it is coming back to actually be empowered, to actually have a good life. And sometimes when we close these chapters of other lifetimes, you get to have a new lifetime. You get to say, right, and I sit there, we sit in a place of review, and we'll say, right, well, what do you want for this lifetime? Like, you've done so much good, and you've finished the cycle, and it's time. So what do you want? What do you want for your family? What do you want to wish into the next generations?
Yeah.
And you really get to do some really good work, and it is light work. And a lot of us, just remember that ripple, a lot of us, when we make that change, that ripple goes across all our families. It goes into the collective, the people around us, and we're all making a difference within the world systems.
Yeah. Yeah, I do see sometimes in my readings that there may be like a mum and dad have split up, and then their daughter has a family and she split up, and then her daughter has a family and they split up. And it's kind of like, it just keeps...
Cycles.
Yeah, it's like the cycle.
Yeah, and that unresolved stuff. And sometimes it is not being able to see that problem, where it originated, and what is that about.
So do you think if that one of them went and had some type of regression therapy in this lifetime even, to see what's happening?
Yes, and I'll tell you what happens as well. Sometimes, right, you'll say, right, well, what is it within the relationship? What are those challenges? And sometimes part of the challenge is the inability to speak up for yourself. Picking a guy that isn't the right fit for you. So we attract, as subservient people, people who are dominant, people who can actually have more than one partner. You know, well, but he loves me.
Yeah.
And, you know, what's the difference? No, I'm a different energy. I'd say, no, if you want to be with someone else, well, you're not with me. Yeah. And sometimes people put up with stuff because they don't have that value or that worth as well. They don't feel, they're afraid. For one of them I don't want to be on my own. Don't leave me on my own. And there was like a past life where they were left on their own. And in that lifetime, for a woman to be on her own was not a good thing.
Yeah.
So I will take anything rather than being on my own. Wow. But just don't leave me. And that was one past life that I went with someone. Right. So with the safety mechanism was to have him, because at least you were alive. It was survival. Yeah. It wasn't love.
Yeah.
And sometimes then when that resolve is done, you realise, I deserve better. And I think when people look at it and think, so I'm showing my daughter how to do this as well. I'm showing my son how to do this as well. Yeah. And there are a lot of sessions I have at the minute, by the way. They go, no. So by me advocating for something better from me, I said, when you show them that you can stand up and speak up, they learn by you that at any stage of your life, you can turn things around, you can get on, you can say no, they go, whatever. They see you standing on your own 2 feet. They see you making a go of it. Yeah. And when it's something that's behind you, that's why you need therapy work. Yeah. Because it actually heals the parts in you that feels, I can't do this.
Okay.
And that's what you're doing. You're looking for that help that will help you to actually have the courage. And sometimes, as I said, it's not about living. A lot of people aren't living, they're surviving.
Yeah. And what about physical? I have a few things wrote down here, but what about physical? So if somebody gets like cancer or stuff like that, would that be something that they brought with them at the same age, or do you know?
It's a funny one because there's so much in our environments at the moment. There's so much that we're putting in our bodies. Yeah. There's so much that's actually adding to maybe this epidemic of cancers and stuff. And what we do know is that inflammation actually affects all of this stuff as well. Sometimes what you'll find is if you go in, I remember working with a woman and she had 3 weeks to live. She never told her family that.
Okay.
She came to me and she wouldn't mention it, and I didn't mention it because she couldn't say the word. And anyway, she came to me, and it was breast cancer, and she left the hospital. She says, I'm not taking that, whatever. And they said, well, you've about 3 weeks. That's what they said to her. So anyway, she came to me. Her daughter brought her up, and her daughter knows this now anyway, because she told her. Anyway, years later it came out. But I didn't mention the war. She never mentioned the war. We didn't mention the word. She'd say the big C, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
We did some work. We did some regression work, and that actually, she lived for 10 years longer.
Wow.
Yeah. So she used to call me Jennifer. She'd say, I don't care, but Jennifer. So if something went wrong, and I'd say, look, there's a bit of an abscess there. You need to go to your doctors because this is working, isn't it? Aren't you still alive? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Don't be afraid. But she had a horrible fear of the medication, of what it was going to do. But for her, I would never, ever advocate for anything like that. Yeah. But it was only years later she told me the truth.
Okay. Yeah.
And her daughter told me the truth. And I was saying, oh, my God.
So it was the fear of talking about it.
Yeah. So we were able to go to stuff. And that obviously changed the cellular stuff for her.
The cellular outcome.
Yeah. And, you know, there's a lot of fear stuff, a lot of stuff maybe that created a lot of anxiety for her and stress for her. Mm-hmm. Who's to say? Or was it just spontaneous healing in that moment of connecting with a higher soul and the higher self, Debs? Yeah. You know, like there's a lot, you know, that people don't get because words don't give it to you. Mm-hmm. You sit in an experience and you go, I can't put words on that.
Yeah.
And people would say that to me, like, what does Jenny do? And they'll say, I don't know. You'll have to go because I can't explain it. Yeah. But all I can say is when you're there, you're going, oh my God, what has just happened?
Absolutely.
And for what they think they've been under for a half an hour, it could be 2 hours. And I don't, it's not like a production line with me. I go with the energy of people and I see who's looking, who's on the waiting list or whatever. And it's really what spirit shows me is more important.
Yeah, it's kind of the way I draw too.
Yeah, it's not like a fun thing.
Yeah.
And none of this stuff is a fun thing. It's a serious healing modality. And it is life altering for people. People's lives change. Yeah. Like it's amazing stuff. I remember I had this woman, and when I did the work, she had problems with her legs, she had problems with her circulation, and the blood wasn't getting down. There was loads of problems going on for her. Anyway, we went back, and she went back to being a child at probably 8 or 9 and begging her mother to cut her leg off. There was that much pain. So what resolved that issue then, I don't know. But when we went back to another lifetime, and she was a soldier on a field that his leg has been blown off. And he was still there because they had made a pact that he stays with his troop, and he was going to get his troop out there. They were all blown up. So when we went there, we were on the land, and we were able to bring all his comrades to the light. It was the most amazing. It's like every cell on your body, every hair on your body stands up when you feel that electrified group energy of souls leaving. Yeah. And it was like a mass lift of healing, and they could all go. And after that, like her blood started flowing and everything. But it was like she came back to clear. So her leg would not stop till she actually did something about that.
Okay. Amazing. There's a lot there. I think we've kind of covered most things, haven't we? Physical problem. Birthmarks. Yeah. I could tell you one about that myself. So my son, when he was probably about 3, he said, my name used to be Jack, and I was in the army and I got dead on my back. They shot me or they stabbed me or something. And we're looking at each other going, this is mad, because on his back he has a big, blast. What looks like,
yeah.
And you can actually see that, like, as if someone...
Yeah, I've seen that.
And he still has it, like, well, he's a man now. Yeah. But, like, that's there.
And is there one here as well?
No, but when I say it to him, he doesn't even remember telling me these things.
No, they don't.
You know, but at the time we were like, well, you have that thing on your back. But I wouldn't have said it to him because he'd be afraid then. But that was his thing. So, you know, birthmarks do show things as well. you know, that we have been somewhere else. Or,
without a doubt. Like there's like that, the stuff on the neck, marks on the arms at different times. Yeah, you'd see them like huge, big, like freckles, but they're not the marks where like a snake might have bit somebody.
Yeah.
And I'd often, another way that I would regress for people, I'd hold on to a part of their body where the pain is, and we're there.
So you go back to see what it is.
Like, so it depends on the person and whatever. I could just put my hand on somebody and next we're both there. It's like, it's amazing.
And when you're doing that, do people lie on a plinth or do they just sit facing you?
They sit facing me. So I laugh for some of the students, they go, not the chair, because they know it's a session. But when someone comes in, I do an intake. And as I said, at this moment in our life, in our history, 9 times out of 10, it's transpersonal work. So I'd sit and all of a sudden, what they're there, I'm feeling it. I talk it to them and they're gone. And we're in a transparent, they don't even hit the plinth. And the way I look at it, if they were to have one opportunity to help to deal with something that's actually active, it's an active charge in their field that won't leave. You know, that's where we go. Like you don't need anything other than the person and what's happening there and then for them.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to do with clearing family karma at the moment. A lot.
Right.
A lot.
I think coming through last year, the year of the snake, and people, they shed a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't realise that they've done that and that they're still kind of in that process since February that hasn't fully left
lifted.
them.
No.
So, yeah.
And I tell you about this year, because we're starting a new cycle.
Yeah.
A lot of things have ended. So why bring the same problems into the next life?
Yeah.
And, you know, I was outside, Keith was deadheading his flowers. And I said, it's an analogy because there's a brand new head that's about to grow.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, we have to, and you know, the hardest thing is, right? Kind of when you come, we come for lessons, yeah? Life lessons.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people would say with karma, you know, like our good events is our good karma, and the bad stuff that happens to us is our bad karma that we need to work through. You know, it could be a good indicator to look if things aren't going right for you.
Yeah.
Why are they not going right? And if it's the same cycles, and if it's the same type of guy that you're meeting, or the same type of girl that you're meeting, and you're wasting 4 years of your life, 4 years of your life, 4 years, why? Like, I remember doing this cycle with this woman, and all her relationships for 4 years. And she came back to me. She met somebody new. We did the work. She came back and she goes, we're together 4 months and it's just ended. And, like, you know, I did all that and I thought whatever. And it was 4 again. And I said, well, at least you didn't do 4 years.
You need to cut them
I
ties with the 4.
I said, you're getting better at this. I said, but better off known now.
Yeah.
So then it was working on, well, what is it that you need to clear?
Yeah.
That would make you actually believe that you deserve something a bit better
Gotcha.
than where you're at now. And it's letting go of some of the old stuff that even originates in the classroom to the first boyfriend. I'd have people come in because they're going through a breakup. It wouldn't be the guy that they're going through the breakup with. It would actually go to somebody that they knew when they were 18 years of age.
Yeah, because they're carrying that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, this is very
they're
important.
Triggered by something.
This is actually very important because it might let you see that the phenomena isn't because of other times.
Yeah.
In other lifetimes. It's in this lifetime. So for one guy, you know, I would see people's energy in people's energy field. I would see guys standing in the place of where a husband should be.
Yeah.
And actually have an ownership of a woman's field.
And blocking that. Yeah.
And blocking them.
I do see that on reading.
Also, I would clear a lot of womb energy for women. There's a guy in the room here. But the guys give, the women receive. Think about it.
Yeah.
And what you've got is energy charges still left, remnants.
Absolutely.
So I would help people clear that, and we would actually give energy back.
Yeah.
And we would do, like with past life, soul retrieval stuff. So you're actually retrieving back your energy.
Yeah.
And people would get up the next day like an ever-ready, you know, bunny, like all completely charged up and ready to go again. And it's unfinished business. Some of them our contracts from like that 18-year-old, you know, I love you forever, I love you forever, and we're going to stay forever together, and they're making all of this of the plans they're going to do. Mm-hmm. And that is still there. There's still a charge of a promise that was made. I'd have women come in that have been divorced for 20-something years that have never got over their partners.
Do you find there's more women than men come to you?
Yeah, definitely. And I'd say, like, why can't you? And do you know why? Because they made a vow in a church. And that's connected into belief systems.
Okay.
So we break the vows. I said the contract is finished. You can break that vow, and we do that. We were able to do. I actually made a little list here, and very quickly, right? Just some of the common stuff, okay? So, you know, it's there, like when people come, what past life lesson is still active in my energy field? So we discuss some of those stuff because they're active and other people trigger them at different times of our life. Yeah. A newborn baby doesn't come in with that. But life events, like you said, somebody in work comes and shafts you for a job. Yeah. And then what's that? That activates something inside you looking for justice. Yeah. And that's for you to have justice. Mm-hmm. So the next time, one of the funniest ones I had was this woman who got shafted, right? And this other woman got the job and all the rest of it. Anyway, she ended up going on, thriving, getting a job, getting into a great position and whatever. And there was an interview going for this other role that was coming now within the business she worked in. Mm-hmm. And that woman turned up for the interview. And she was on the panel.
Okay.
Yeah. And I said, isn't it funny how karma works?
Yeah. And she took her power back.
Yeah. And she said she had to sit looking at the growth that she had done. And at that point, I said, what did you do? She says, well, she wasn't a good fit. But she said, it made me realise just how far I've come. Yeah. And because of her, the power. I was determined to do better. Isn't it amazing, really? Worth, So the next one is contract agreements with our parents, partners, siblings that are still active now. People would come, and that's what we would actually clean up. Yeah. So the relationships would change after that. And what are the terms of the contract? So you're able to understand why you're doing what you're doing and why they're doing what they're doing. And all of a sudden, because you've done the work, they don't need to do the work. It has changed. There isn't a catch like where you connect in like this. It's gone. Yeah. So they can't connect onto your field anymore. Yeah. Is there an ancestral or family contract from past life affecting me today? That would be a big one. And we would go there and we would work it out. And can I heal it and can I revoke it? And we heal and we revoke a lot of stuff in the session. Right. What past life version of myself have I suppressed and rejected? And a lot of that can be despair, dread and fear. And it's the moment of death. And that we carry it as anxiety. A lot of people, do you know, a lot of people are anxious at the moment. I would say to people, you can't underestimate the new generation of kids that are coming in because they're in here to change things. Absolutely. They're the next generation. Absolutely. So they are super sensitive souls that actually hold a mirror up to 2 generations ago that did not discuss emotional stuff, did not display acts of love, couldn't. And what you're getting now is this new energy. We're moving into the age of Aquarius, which is the feminine. The divine feminine is rising. It's love, it's healing, it's compassion. It's everything other than what our world systems have been based on. Yeah. And, you know, like the ancients would tell us about this time in our history that we're all going through. So just know that everything is okay. And just today, like other generations, when it was World War I or World War II, we get through. We push through. We always do. And I think what we need to understand is it is so important to actually tap into your spiritual stuff because it's there to support you. It's there.
Have you any tips for people on like how to disconnect from like energy that they're feeling? Yeah. Would it be cutting ties kind of thing?
Yeah, well, to me, right, I think a lot of us are in our heads. Let's be honest. The whole world is in your head. Yeah. And you don't rest running. You know, you don't rest. For me, when I started doing this work, driving in my car, I used to have downloads. Yeah. I think it was the only place that I was quiet because I have a practice.
You're in a meditative state when you're driving. Yeah.
And it comes in.
Or when you're reading watching something. Yeah.
So if your whole life is crammed up with to do, work, do, your brain doesn't get downtime. So then you lie in your bed And what happens is the brain starts kind of processing and clearing the day. It's like clearing off the laptop, closing down stuff, putting stuff into short-term memory, long-term, whatever that's going on. And if there's stuff that's active and going on and challenges in your life, so you're not getting that time. Years ago, I think what religion had, one of the good things about it, was a place where you could sit and close your eyes. Like, whether you're religious or not, you don't have to be. Go into a temple, go into a church, light a candle and sit with your soul, and know that it's not just your body and your mind, that your mind is just so hardwired to everything that's going on around you.
So thank you to Jenny Murphy from Vibe Tribe for coming in today and talking about everything that she does in her business, her Reiki. She does have a Reiki Level 2 coming up in June. Is that right?
I do, actually.
What date is it, 22nd?
I have a Reiki 2 coming up. No, it's the 20th and 21st. It's on the solstice.
Okay, 20th and 21st.
And I have a practitioner level, the 27, 28.
Right.
Might be 2 places left on
Yeah. So there's some workshops coming up if you're interested. So thanks very much, Jenny.
Thank you.
And for me, I'll sign off now, and I will talk to you on the next episode. So until then, don't ghost me. Thank you. A Life Afterlife podcast is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a legal, medical or financial professional, but I am your spiritual friend. Any spiritual advice given on this podcast is not a substitute for legal, psychological, medical or financial advice. Discretion is advised. You, my listener, holds full responsibility for your own spiritual results, growth and protection at this time. Thank you.